Hello, and welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk about something that is not often talked about or linked to fertility for many women, and that is blood sugar and fertility. Now, we're talking a lot more about blood sugar than we ever have before, but when it comes to fertility, many women don't really identify as someone who has some blood sugar issues if they don't have things like insulin resistance or prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, or even something like PCOS. And generally when people start having the conversation about blood sugar, if they don't identify with any of those conditions, they tend to stop listening. But here's the thing. When someone is talking about blood sugar issues in relation to fertility, they're talking about ovulation. They're talking about implantation. They're talking about the 2-week wait. They're talking about long luteal phases. They're talking about good egg quality. So you actually need to be paying attention when people are talking about blood sugar. So today we are going to make that connection. I'm going to tell you how blood sugar is inextricably linked to you getting and staying pregnant. And as a reminder, I'm Bianca, and I am a fertility diet and lifestyle coach, a professionally trained chef, and also a holistic nutritionist. And I help people get and stay pregnant by understanding not just what to eat, but how to eat it. And I hope that in today's video and all the videos on my page, you learn how to optimize and make your body baby friendly. If you are dealing with blood sugar issues and you have not yet made any connections, like you're like, I don't have blood sugar issues, let me ask you this. Do you have gut issues? Because if you have gut issues, you can actually bring a lot of resolve to what's going on in your gut by understanding what's going on with your blood sugar. Here's the thing about anything metabolic, meaning blood sugar, glucose, insulin, etc., is that if you have a glucose response, so a spike and it stays high, your blood sugar, a spike and it dips, so it spikes and then goes down, or low blood sugar, which not a lot of people clock because you aren't eating enough, there's not enough food going in your body, what happens is as a result of that response, your body goes into a cortisol response because it interprets that as, okay, there is a reason our body is stressed. We are not getting food, or we have food and we have lots of energy and there's so much going on, and your body gets the message confused and it says to itself, we're in a stressed state. And then as a result of that, there is a cortisol response. And as a result of that, inflammation is what is left behind. Now, when we go back to the cortisol response, what happens when that happens is our body, in deciding whether it's to fight for our life, run, legs, or fight for it, arms, floods all of the resources in our midsection into our arms and our legs for that potential fight or flight. Now, that means that all of our digestive area is not getting the resources it needs to digest the food that we just ate. So nutrient absorption is impaired. And that is bad because if you are not getting the nutrients that your body needs from your food, either because of this cortisol response, and maybe that is stacked on top of you eat a heavily processed diet, maybe you eat a lot of fast food, maybe you eat a lot of like pre-prepared, pre-packaged food. When you stack those two things on top of one another, that means that your body is not getting what it needs. And when it comes to fertility, it is a luxury function in the body. If your body feels depleted in any way, it is going to divert the resources for fertility to things that just help you stay alive and go through your day to day. And so nutrient absorption is something that should be very, very important and at the top of mind for you when it comes to your fertility journey. And understanding how to eat for blood sugar balance also vastly improves what goes on with your gut function. Now, are there other things that play with your gut? Absolutely. But what we're doing when we understand how to eat for blood sugar is we are taking the stress off of what's going on in your stomach, because at the very least, we are leaving the resources where they need to be as effectively used for you getting all of the nutrients from your food. Now, as a disclaimer, I will also say that you need to be eating whole foods, single ingredient foods. You need to be eating high quality food, not a lot of processed food, because again, understanding what to eat lives in that realm, whole foods. But also understanding how to eat it is where we make sure that we get the benefit of all those foods because they're being absorbed in our body as effectively as possible because of how we ate them. And so when you think about gut health, and like there's so many people that are like, oh, I have, gut issues, gas, bloating, like just stomach aches, all the things. And it cannot be determined what it is. It likely has to do with how you are eating your food and what is happening in your gut as a result of that. Now, if you're eating something that you cannot digest, like you have an intolerance to, stop eating that. That's not good. That being said, I often say to my clients, and this was very true for myself in my own health journey, is that when my gut was not optimized and functioning like it really should be, there were a lot of things that upset my digestive system. Once I did the healing required, now I eat all of those foods that once upset me with no issue. And so that is also another thing to think about with your gut health. If you are eating things because someone said, oh my gosh, this is a healthy thing to eat, and it upsets your stomach, you have to stop doing that. But I digress. We're talking about blood sugar and gut health. So when it comes to your blood sugar, understanding that it's a function of making sure that you eat your food in a way that preserves all of the energy and the resources in your gut area so that your food can be absorbed properly. Because when you are getting the most from your food, the most nutrients, that means that it can fund really good egg quality. That's where gut health is like so linked to fertility. It's linked in other ways, but when it comes to our egg quality, nutrients matter so much. And if we are not absorbing the nutrients like we should be, that is a problem. And that is where we start to have issues with our egg quality. But again, if we can eat in a way that serves the purpose of both balancing our blood sugar, which is good for us on a total body front, but also making sure that we absorb our food better, that means that there are more nutrients that can be given to the effort of good egg quality. And if you're trying to get pregnant over 35 or over 40, egg quality matters so much. And so by extension of that, blood sugar balance and gut health matters so much. As I mentioned, when you have a blood sugar inconsistency or a negative blood sugar effect, whatever you want to call it, that causes a cortisol response, which then, if you are having those chronically, meaning every time you eat, there is a blood sugar event, that is going to start leaving inflammation in your body. Inflammation is the barrier to easy conception, certainly again, over 35, over 40 when egg quality matters, because inflammation is terrible for egg quality. Because inflammation is oxidative stress. That's what it causes. And oxidative stress is very bad for our cells, cause cellular damage. And what are eggs? Cells. And so we need to be so mindful of what having bad blood sugar management means for the inflammation in our body. Inflammation doesn't just appear on its own unless you like get a cut or you get hit somewhere. Yes, that's inflammation, and that is your body's natural response. We love that. But having inflammation and it coming from a chronic place, like every time you eat, having bad blood sugar balance as a result of just eating meals, this is a chronic inflammation. It is a negative response. It is not measured in any way. It's not your body doing what it needs to do. It's you causing your body to do something. And that inflammation that is happening every time you eat is not good, because what that is going to do is it's going to damage your egg quality. Now, there are many people that have been told you have low ovarian reserve, you don't have a lot of eggs left. And I'll say this one thing, many of us go into menopause with like 1,000 eggs still in our bodies. So the notion that you have no eggs, I would challenge that. That being said, if you are one of the people who falls into the low ovarian reserve category, egg quality needs to be your raison d'etre. It needs to be your reason for being, because you need to be so focused on the quality of the eggs that you do have. And because you have less, you have to be very interested in their quality. And so having inflammation in the body is terrible for you. And blood sugar and how you eat your food, again, because you can have a negative inflammatory effect on your body if you work out too hard. But if you're working out maybe once a day, 4 times a week, yes, that's still bad. But think about it. If you are eating 5 times a day, maybe 3 times a day, and every single time you are not eating your food in a way that balances your blood sugar, that's 3 to 5 times a day that you are having a chronic cortisol response and therefore an inflammatory response. That means that 3 to 5 times a day, your eggs are taking a hit. And if you don't have a lot of eggs, we need to make sure that we are not giving them hits upon hits upon hits multiple times a day. And that is what bad blood sugar does to you. Now, does it happen where you have, a blood sugar event? Yeah. You're on a plane and the food wasn't what you thought it was going to be. You're on vacation and you didn't eat in, a time frame that was, good for your blood sugar. You needed a nap. That is where we put the 20 to 15% of the 80, 85, 80-20 vibes. Now, 80% of the time, however, you are making sure that you eat your food in the right sequence. You are making sure that you eat a nutrient-dense diet. You are making sure that you prioritize protein and fat. You are making sure of those things 80% of the time, because that means that in balancing your blood sugar and not having an inflammatory response, you are also eating things like good sources of protein, good healthy fats, vegetables that have lots of vitamins and minerals and fiber in them. And so it's like doing two things. You're getting nutrients in, but you're also balancing your blood sugar and lowering your inflammation. It's like everybody wins. And so 80% of the time you want to be doing that. The other times, you have to save space for life and living so that you don't feel any pressure to be perfect, because that's not what this is about. But when it comes to blood sugar balance, the inflammatory effect it can have on the body is wild. And it's even wilder to me that this is not communicated in clinical spaces, because one thing that many women don't know is that your luteal phase, or your 2-week wait, you are incredibly insulin resistant. Most people are a little bit not incredibly. Most people are insulin resistant, or they kind of toe the line of that. And that is natural, because your body is taking a lot of energy, building a lining, implanting a pregnancy, if that's what you have tried to do on your ovulation window. Now, that is very energetically demanding, so we need more food. So our blood sugar tends to pitch and spike. That's natural. If you are adding to that by, again, how you're eating, what you're eating, and then it's all over the place, that will absolutely affect implantation. It will affect your implantation quality, all of that. And if that's stacked on top of bad egg quality and then bad implantation quality, that is not good. That generally doesn't spell excellent outcomes. So all this yapping to say that your blood sugar matters so much in your egg quality. And if you are, again, 35 plus and trying to get pregnant, if you have been told you have low ovarian reserve at any age, you need to be so mindful of what's going on with your blood sugar, because what's going on with your blood sugar extends to your egg quality. And we want to make sure that we protect and preserve and value the eggs that you do have. Next to our heart, our liver is our most important organ. If our heart stops working, we die. That's known. But if our liver stops working or fails to function optimally, we sort of feel like we're dying. We feel like we're dead. And that really is just how you can sum up liver function, because it does so much for us. The liver digests and processes all of the food that we eat, all of the medications we take, all of the alcohol that we drink, anything we breathe in, anything we put on our skin, in addition to balancing, regulating, and producing hormones, and also helping to regulate blood sugar balance in the body. It also makes any toxins that we take into our body by virtue of all of those things, makes them water soluble and then comes out through our waste so that they don't harm us. The liver is doing big things. And when it comes to the liver, it also is balancing, like I said, our blood sugar. And if you are eating a lot of things that are having a negative blood sugar effect in the body, so you have elevated blood sugar, that is going to put extra weight on the liver in terms of what it has to do. If you are using a lot of fragrance, that is going to put a lot of stuff on the liver, because all of this has to go through there and be sort of checked and clocked, checkpointed. You're safe, you're not safe. That's a lot to do. But also where we get our hormonal balance comes from the liver. And if our hormones are out of whack, estrogen, progesterone, insulin, cortisol, all of that, that is a lot for the liver to have to deal with. But it will deprioritize the sex hormones like progesterone and estrogen, because those are luxury hormones. Cortisol, insulin, all of those are hormones that you actually need to like survive, like minute to minute, day to day. Estrogen and progesterone could be low for a while. You feel it. Like I said before, you don't feel good, but you're still alive. And when we are able to remove some of the factors that are bogging down our liver, that means that there is better hormone regulation because the liver just has more energy for it, has more space for it. It's like, think of yourself, when your calendar is stacked, you start dropping things off. And the things that drop are the things that are non-essential. And that's what happens with your hormones when it comes to your liver being overloaded. There are many people that will say the liver is a self-cleaning organ. However, yes, that is true. But also, you need to make sure that you are giving your liver what it needs to function optimally. And sometimes it's about eating the right foods, anti-inflammatory foods, high quality meats and proteins and carbs and all of that. But sometimes it's also about what you take out. And what you need to start taking out are the habits and behaviors that are leading you to have elevated or chronically out of balance blood sugar. And this is the thing that I find very interesting, is that metabolic health is implicated in so many things, in your immunity, in your brain function, in cancer and cancer outcomes, in fertility, in all the things. And we are not being given that connection made in the spaces where I think it would really carry weight. If you were in a fertility clinic and they said to you, you need to balance your blood sugar, here's how to do it, you would do it. Because the people that are, saying, here, this is how you get pregnant, would also be giving you this other side of the coin. You have to remember that when you go into a clinical space, they are very concerned with eggs, sperm, uterus. But they are not concerned with your blood sugar. They are not concerned with your liver health. They are not concerned with what's going on with your gut. They are not concerned with how you sleep, how much water you drink. And all of those factors are what lead to good sperm and egg quality. And when it comes to blood sugar balance, all of the things that you are going to be doing in terms of eating better food, eating more fat, eating more protein, food sequencing, all of that sinks in and actually works more effectively in a body that's blood sugar balanced and metabolically balanced. Because that means that we're not having a cortisol effect. We're not being inflamed by that. That means that every time we eat, we're actually extracting the nutrients we're meant to extract. And it's being delivered and assimilated through our body in a way that's actually effective for us, as opposed to having inflammation be the result of every time we eat. And so blood sugar and metabolic health means so much to your fertility. And I need you to take that seriously. Understanding what to eat, but also how to eat it and how it will benefit all of those pillars: blood sugar, gut, liver, stress, inflammation, and cortisol. That is what is going to help you get and stay pregnant, but furthermore, feel good as you do it. That's the point. If you're wondering how to do it, I'm going to tell you how to do it. So balancing your blood sugar, there's so many ways that you can do it, but one of the best tips that I can give you is, like I said earlier, making sure to eat protein and fat at every single meal. This will help to ensure that you have these two very grounding effects in your body that also sort of ground and give your blood sugar stability. They help you feel full, they help you feel satisfied, and they are nutrient dense and full of the things that you need for good egg quality, full of the things that you need for lowered inflammation, protein and fat. Now, I also want to mention that the Fertility Blueprint, which is my self-paced Fertility Reboot program, is the program that is going to help you get your body baby friendly. Because here's the thing, understanding that there are pillars to this and there are steps to this means that you understand what to do. So often in a fertility clinic space, you're told, okay, well, go work on your egg quality, or your eggs are bad, get donor eggs, but you're not told, what can I do to improve my body, myself, so that I am armed and ready for trying naturally, or IUI, or IVF, or egg retrieval? Because there are things that you absolutely can do to prepare yourself for better outcomes. As someone who helps people get and stay pregnant, I know that what I say is true. And in the Fertility Blueprint, you will learn in each module blood sugar, You'll learn everything you need to know about balancing your blood sugar, how to eat the food so that you are having a blood sugar balanced effect. Meaning you can go anywhere, a restaurant, dinner with friends, on vacation, and any plate that is put in front of you, you know how to eat it for blood sugar balance, and by extension of that, lowered inflammation, better egg quality. We also talk about liver health. This is where we really sink into what you need to do for both phase 1 and phase 2 liver detox, because it happens in 2 phases and both phases are unique and require different things. And the beauty of this program is it's self-paced, so it allows you to take as long as you need in each module, because the goal is to stack the habits from each module onto the next one, onto the next one. So by the end, you are living a fertility diet and lifestyle. That's the whole point, because the diet that gets you pregnant is the diet that you want to be eating when you're pregnant, because it's going to serve you then as well. It's also the diet you want to eat postpartum while you're healing and making breast milk and all of that. This is a diet and lifestyle that will carry you through to maybe your second pregnancy, but just through life. The fertility diet is the longevity diet. We also talk about gut health. We talk about gently and warmly cleansing the gut and boosting its function. There's no cold detoxes. There's no like cold salads. It's none of that. The word detox has kind of been hijacked, but I'm reclaiming it. It's more just about teaching your body how to digest properly, teaching your body how to have good digestion, because it is something that you can teach and train your body to have. And lastly, we talk about stress, inflammation, cortisol. But I always say to people, the way that the program is structured is so that you go through all the modules and you get everything that you need. So by the time you get to the stress, inflammation, cortisol portion, a lot of that inflammation is gone. A lot of those cortisol responses have stopped happening. So that's mostly just about like, you know, a little bit of cleanup that you might be able to do through some like lifestyle things with some supplements. But this whole program is meant to help you understand how to feel good every day, how to have energy, how to sleep better, how to have a pain-free period. But in addition to that, what that means for you in terms of getting and staying pregnant. It is my life's work, and I hope that you join, because if you want to have a baby this year, that's how you do it. I hope that you have come to understand the importance of blood sugar balance in your fertility journey. If no one has mentioned this to you before, you have every right to be upset, because it means a lot to what's going on. If you have unexplained infertility, I could bet that in one of those areas, we would have some explanation to what's going on with your fertility. If you are having multiple miscarriages and it's due to either egg quality or sperm quality, blood sugar will help tremendously with that because of the nutrient absorption. And so I just want you to remember that your fertility doesn't live alone on an island. Your fertility is a reflection of what is going on in every other area of your body. And so the job and our goal is to make sure that we give every single spot and every single place in your body the nurturing it needs, the nourishment it needs, the support it needs, so that your body feels safe, ready, and prepared to get pregnant, to stay pregnant, to have a beautiful pregnancy, a beautiful birth, and a beautiful postpartum. It's completely possible, but it all starts preconception. So if you liked this video, I loved talking about this. I love talking about blood sugar. Please like it, please comment, please share, please subscribe. I love having you here. I hope that these videos really help you feel more empowered and motivated and confident in yourself and in your body's ability to get pregnant. If you want to have a baby, you can do the work to get there. And whether you decide to do assisted reproductive technology like IVF or IUI, or you are trying to conceive naturally, all of that needs to be wrapped in the cloak of good blood sugar balance, because it will mean so much to this journey for you, and it will lead to more positive outcomes. So I hope that you've come to understand that, and I also hope that you feel hopeful.